Most people go through their entire lives thinking the brain is just an organ, something that keeps your heart beating, keeps you breathing, processes information, just a biological machine tucked inside your skull. And that thinking right there is the most limiting mistake a person can make. Because the brain is not just an organ, it's the most advanced, most powerful computer ever created on this earth, on this planet, everywhere you see. Everything around us is made by the brain. And once you start seeing what it truly is, that's when your life will change. Now stick with me, because everything I'm going to share with you today might change your life, your potential, and how you see things. Look around you. Everything you see around you started off as a thought in somebody's mind, a picture that lived in somebody's mind before it was realized into the real world. Let's take a look at the Wright brothers, for example. They could already see people flying in the air before it had even happened. Or Steve Jobs, he could see a computer in everybody's house before it even happened. Or buildings. They all started as a picture in an architect's mind. Now the question is, what turned those pictures into reality? Three things: will, effort, and belief. Will, the decision that this vision will become real. Effort, the consistent action taking towards this goal. And belief, the unshakable conviction that even before proof existed that this will happen. This is not poetry nor motivation talk. This is how the world gets built. Everything inside and on the world. And the machine behind everything that turns the invisible thoughts into visible reality is your brain. So now let's take a look how this machine actually works, how we can use this machine in our benefits. Now the brain is physically divided in two parts, and those two parts are called hemispheres. You have the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, and they both have their specific role. So for example, the left hemisphere is your analytical, your logical side. This is where math happens, language happens, structure happens, planning happens. For example, if you're writing an email or planning something, it all happens with the left hemisphere. Now, the right hemisphere of your brain is the creative part. It's responsible for dreams, colors, images, emotions, creative things. For example, when you see pictures, you're processing colors and all those things, it all happens in the right hemisphere of your mind. Now, this is where most people get wrong, because they think either you're one or the other, or you're logical, analytical, or you're creative, emotional. But the leaders of the world, the entrepreneurs, the big money getters, all those people have learned to use both sides. They use the left hemisphere of their brain to plan, execute, calculate, and then they use the right hemisphere of their brain to feel, imagine, vision cast. And it's right there at the right hemisphere of your brain, the creative, emotional side, that you get into touch with something far deeper, something far more powerful, which brings us to the three layers of the mind. Beyond the left and the right hemisphere, your brain operates on three levels of consciousness. And understanding how these three levels work will change your approach on life, habits, and your goals. And I'll make it very easy for you guys to understand. So level one is the conscious mind. Okay guys, so I noted it out like this. Let's for example say that this is the location in your brain that your conscious mind is at. But if you want me to get it more into detail, I'll explain it like this. Your conscious mind is the surface level. It's where the thinking is done, the decision making, the processing. For example, the words that are coming out of my mouth and entering your brain, and you're thinking about my words, that is the exact location of your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is the captain. It's giving out orders to the rest of your body and this and that. But that isn't where it ends, because when the conscious mind is only active when you're thinking and processing something. But the moment you shift your attention and it gives out those thoughts to something much more powerful, and that is the subconscious mind. Now this is an interesting part, because if you consider this a ship, right? Consider this the engine. It runs 24/7. It doesn't need your thinking. It doesn't need nothing of you, and it doesn't even argue with you. It's like a slave. Whatever you feed it, it will store. Your habits, your emotions, your deeply held beliefs, your reactions. It runs on autopilot, okay? And most people don't understand, but their whole lives they've been feeding it fear, doubt, negative emotions, negative things. And this has negative results on their life, and they don't even understand it. They just think it's God or it's the universe, but it's all their own doing. Now we have arrived at the superconscious mind. Now this is where things get extraordinary. So Brian Tracy, for example, calls this the master power. It's the highest level of mental functioning, okay? This allows you to get creative. For example, it gives you intuition, all those things. Like for example, you're in the shower, you're taking a shower, and then all of a sudden, you don't know why, but for a certain problem, you have the solution and you just know it's right. That's this. And it only works when the conscious and the subconscious part of your brain are aligned, okay? And it also primarily uses the right hemisphere of your brain, the creative part, to function, okay? And this is why logic is not the only thing needed. This is why the most great men that have ever lived also dared to see things that weren't already realized, but envisioned them as if they were. Now let's talk about how all these things work together in manifestation. You've probably heard of manifestation. It's where you speak out positive affirmations and then suddenly, like a vending machine, they're supposed to appear in your life. Now that's where most people go wrong, because like I said, they treat it like a vending machine. They wake up 10 times every day, they say, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich, with no emotions, no images, and then nothing happens. Now let me explain why. The subconscious mind doesn't work that way. It only works with images and emotions, okay? That's, if you want to pay him, that's what you're supposed to give him, images and emotions. Let me say it to you this way. For example, if I say apple, right? Your mind doesn't go, okay, A-P-P-L-E. No, it just envisions an apple. Red, green, doesn't matter which colors. It sees an image, okay? And that's how the rest works. It stores images, not words, not letters. This is how the mind works, in pictures, in sensations, in feelings, all those things. So when someone says, I want to be rich, or I will be rich, or I am rich, without any feelings, without any emotions, without any pictures, the brain just receives a blank signal, and what is it supposed to do with it? It's like not paying someone to work for you. You're not feeding it the right emotions and the right things. But when you do have the right pictures, you can already see yourself driving an expensive car, making money, achieving something. You can already feel how that emotion would feel. Then your brain starts working to make your inner reality match your outer world. For example, me, every day I wake up, and the best thing is to do this in the morning. Why? Because when you wake up in the morning, I think when you have just dreamt, that door of imagination, of the creative side, is still a little bit open, okay? And then when you feed it the right things and you start imagining the right things, it'll have more effect. That's what I think of it, okay? So I wake up, I say my sentences with my eyes closed, imagining already how it feels like, those things that I speak out, and then I continue on in my day. And then during my day, I say 100 times, I love myself, and imagining myself jacked with muscles, making money and all those things, like the feeling where I look in the mirror and I say, okay, oh my God, I love myself, right? And then I also say 100 times, I'm a rich and a profitable trader. And then if you can't imagine that, just open, for example, if you're a trader, right? You open your journal and then you look at the take profits you've already hit, and you just look at them and say, I am a rich and a profitable trader. I am a rich and a profitable trader. That's how I do it, at least. And then I've noticed that lately, it's more frequently where I loud and with all the emotions of the world, and I mean it, that I say, I love myself, oh my God, and I see more take profits being hit on the charts and all those things, okay? So that's how I use it, and I've noticed that it's really started working, because in the beginning I was also just saying blank words, giving out blank signals, treating it like a vending machine. But when I started to envision it, see it before it even happened, now it's manifesting itself into my real life. Now I want you to listen very carefully, because this is probably the most important part in this whole video, and I'm going to tell you and explain to you how you have been sabotaging yourself, okay? Listen up. The words that you have been speaking your entire life, coupled with emotions and feelings and images, are not just blank words. Those are instructions. Your brain activates on them. Your subconscious mind stores them and activates on them. For example, you tell yourself, no, but I'm fat, but I don't have money, but I don't have this, I don't have that. The brain takes it as, oh, okay, no problem. We're fat, we'll keep the body this way. We don't have money, fuck the financial plans. We don't do this, okay, skip that. You don't realize, but every time you speak out those negative thoughts and emotions, you're sabotaging yourself, okay? So you have to quit this immediately, because it can only get worse and worse. You have to take it like this. Your subconscious mind doesn't hate you. This is its only job. This is what it's designed for, okay? It's not his fault that you're negative. You just have to switch into the positive. It doesn't matter if at that moment, whatever you speak out is reality. Just give it some time, and the feelings, emotions, and images, and your subconscious part of your mind will make sure that you get ideas, you get thoughts, and all those things to make that thing you speak out become reality, okay? Have you ever noticed that the person that always says, I don't have money, never has money? The person that says, I am unlucky, never has any luck. It's not cruel, it's just your brain is consistent with the story you keep telling you yourself, okay? It just makes your words come into reality. You have all the power in the world to make everything your own reality. But if you keep feeding yourself depressing thoughts, negative thoughts, doubting thoughts, fearful thoughts, you're sabotaging yourself. You're shooting yourself in your own leg. Quit that negative thinking. It isn't gonna help you somewhere. People keep asking me, why are you looking at life through the pink goggles? I'm like, brother, what do you think of life? Yeah, it's fucked up. I was like, wouldn't it even be more fucked up if you keep looking at it through the black shades? Give me the pink goggles every day of the week. I'll make the best out of it. And soon enough, it will realize into my real life whatever I keep speaking out. Like, for example, now, I love myself more than anything else in this world, okay? You can call this narcissistic behavior. You can call this selfish. I don't care. If it's me or you, it's me. Every day of the week. I love myself too much to get treated with disrespect and everything else. For example, on trading, okay? I see more good trades being manifested. For example, I've had times where I was like, okay, now I'm going to enter a trade. And then something in me just says like, no, just wait out a little bit. And I look, I see, and if I entered that trade, I would have had a stop loss. I would have lost money, okay? And I'm like, okay, but what was this voice? That was the superconscious part of my mind telling me, okay, hold on. This is what I want you guys to understand. The universe isn't punishing you. The God isn't punishing you. It's you. This is your own doing. The reason your life is negative is because you are making it negative, okay? That's what you have to understand. And I truly believe that. And this is science backed with everything and everything. For example, let me give you an example, right? There was a doctor, I think in 1895, his name was Dr. Schultz, and he had a hospital, and he had a lot of patients, and they were all bad and this and that. But every day, every God-given day, he spoke to them and he said, good morning, you look better than you have ever been, and you feel better. And the patient is supposed to reply with, good morning, I feel very great, I feel like this and this and this. And the rate of success of healing those patients was through the roof, because the patients would say it so much that they believed in their delusion. It doesn't matter if at that moment it's true. Again, it doesn't matter. But if you believe it, if you see it, it will happen, okay? So I need you to be very careful with the words you speak out. Stop talking negative about yourself, okay? Start loving yourself. Start speaking out, I love myself, and think about your achievements. Think about how you look. Think about how funny you are, how kind you are, and all those things, and start loving yourself, because the more you love yourself, the more you will respect yourself, and you will start talking less bad about yourself, okay? Now let's all summarize this together. Your brain is not just an organ, okay? It's the most powerful machine. It can turn those invisible thoughts into visible reality, and it has been doing that for all of human history. But this is a double-sided sword, because feed it negative emotions, negative thoughts, doubt, fear, and it will create a life that is consistent with everything you say. But feed it positive pictures, feelings, emotions, gratefulness, and all those things, and it will create entirely something entirely different, okay? So the first thing you need to do for me is watch your words, okay? For the next 7 or 3 days, I need you to catch yourself whenever you're speaking out something negative. Don't judge it, just notice it. Awareness is always the first step to changing your life. Step number 2, replace the picture, not just the words. So when you speak out these positive affirmations, okay, you speak out, I am rich, I have this, I have that, I am physically good in shape. I need you to close your eyes and try to imagine how that feels like. Imagine what it looks like. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? Go into detail. I need you to live a full-on life in your brain before it actually even materializes into real life, okay? And the last thing I need you to do is to speak in the direction you will be in, not where you are. So I don't want you to take those current limitations and see them as permanent truths, okay? So for example, I don't want you to say, I am broke. No, say, I am building financial freedom. Don't say, I am fat, okay? Change your language and say, I am now building a better body and I will be fit, or I am fit, okay? Those small changes in words are a big change in programming, okay? Your brain is already working 24/7 every second of the day. It's building the reality that it's instructed to build. The question is, are you giving it the right instructions?